I'm a 30 little snugger snake, and welcome to Riftards, you slithery little snigger snakes.
Like a reverse version of the Holocaust.
You're tuned into our weekly conspiracy riff session with your hosts Cody P. Brain Parrish, Randy, and TJ. We can promise two things. It's going to get deep, and we're going to be retarded. Welcome back to another episode of the Riftards podcast. I am Cody P. Brain Parrish, and to my left we have Randall with a Vandal.
Yo.
And across the table, TJ as usual. Got a hell of a show today. I've got a lot of mind gravy to extinguish, I would say. We're going to talk about a lot about government conspiracies today, a lot of parapolitics. It's going to start with Operation Northwoods, and if we get to the very end, it's going to end with the Smith-Mundt Act, where they changed it basically, I think, in like 2012 or some shit. But anything you guys want to get into before I start yapping for like 25 years straight about all this shit, or what?
No, I'm ready to get going.
Nope. All right, man. We're going to start with Operation Northwoods. It was a proposed false flag in 1962 that JFK denied the CIA. Basically, the idea was the CIA was going to both stage and commit acts of terrorism against American civilian and military targets. So think, 9/11, OKC, January 6th, all the shit that they've been doing since then is what they wanted to do with Cuba. They wanted to justify to go to war with Cuba. And that was a year after the Bay of Pigs in a hoax, whatever you would even call the Bay of Pigs, where they basically had a bunch of Cuban refugees go and try to overthrow the Castro government in Cuba. So Northwoods, you can basically tie... the whole CIA basically hated Fidel Castro, and you can tie it basically in with this guy named Sidney Gottlieb. Sidney Gottlieb was the poisoner-in-chief, and he was a big head in the MK Ultra game, but also he had a lot of different ways he was trying to kill Fidel Castro. He was trying to kill him with his scuba suit. I think we talked about this a little bit, right, before?
Yeah.
He was trying to put poison in his scuba suit. He was trying to put poison in his cigars. They were trying to put, like, feminine... I don't even know, like products into his food somehow, where they were trying to make his beard and mustache fall out, which is funny because when we first got into like this whole spy game, basically back in the day during World War II, because basically World War II happened and the U.S. was like, holy shit, we're way behind in espionage, right? One of the first things we tried to do was the same thing to Hitler to make his little fucking mustache fall out. So it's like, what is wrong with our government? Why do we hate facial hair so much,
That's crazy. We're just like...
fucking weird, right?
Does it just make the person like look less of a leader or something maybe? I don't know. That's
make
weird.
him look less masculine?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird for sure.
That's wild. I also heard when you said that they were doing it, why do they hate Fidel Castro so much? They just wanted him out of power?
Well, see, what I always heard my whole life was he was a communist, right? You know the Cuban Missile Crisis was, where they put Cuban missiles in Cuba, basically Russia did.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard my whole life he was a communist, and it was all we were going to stop the communists, and we couldn't let communists be that close to us with missiles and all that dumb shit. But then I was watching an interview, and he basically said he wasn't a communist, so who fucking knows? It could all just be fake and gay and a lie.
Yeah, like everything has been lately.
I literally have no clue. He
The
probably
whole,
might
the whole
have been.
thing's actually fake for sure, probably.
That's what I'm thinking, honestly, like for real. So
Yo, he likes shiny things, I guess, and he liked collecting seashells and shit, and they were trying to make these little like bombs of like seashells to put around for him to find, so when he went like scuba diving that he would go find them and blow up.
Yeah, they really wanted to kill Fidel Castro. It probably had to do with possibly like the U.S. dollar. Who knows, There's probably a lot of different reasons why, to be honest.
There's something way deeper than, he's an evil man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it had nothing to do with that, honestly. Thinking that they actually give a shit about like the Cuban people or how he treats them is hilarious to me.
One of their plans, like that they were going to paint a plane like with U.S. Air Force on it and shoot it down and shit.
Yeah, that's all part of this.
Yeah, that's
all part
the
of
whole
Northwoods.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different things like involved in it, but yeah, that was a big part of it. They were basically going to attack civilians and military with our military and the people that did the Bay of Pigs, basically.
Yeah, they painted like commercial airlines and shot them down, like on purpose.
I don't think they ever actually did it.
That was the plan, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Because JFK,
I think they had like a whole, they were like brainstorming, I'm pretty
it.
sure, in like some article or like some documents I was reading, and there was like a shitload of different plans that they had.
Yeah.
They were all terrible.
thank goodness JFK said no. But like I said, if you read like the terminology of Northwoods, it says both stage and commit, right? That really makes me think of a lot of things that have happened since then. And the biggest one is obviously 9/11, you know? Obviously they staged it, all those, you know, hijackers, they got them to do whatever they did, but they also committed it too, like Building 7. I just will never believe that that jet fuel melted those steel beams. Then there's Building 6 and there's whatever happened at the Pentagon, and you know 9/11, the conspiracy goes fucking on and on and on. But you stage and commit, right? You stage it and you also commit it, and you just get a big hoopla about nothing.
So years before they like show us their plans, basically.
Kind of. And I also noticed doing all this research, all the good books are from like the 70s. There's not any like new, like really good books about any of this, I feel like. But anyways, go ahead.
No, I was just saying like they pretty much show us
I mean, JFK was
into their game plan.
like the last president, though.
Yeah, for real. That's when the deep state took over our government, is when they shot JFK in the head, which we'll get to that more soon. But yeah, it's wild.
I mean, he was the only president that could say no to him. And
well, after he got what he got, no one else wanted to.
Yep.
I mean, maybe Nixon tried to. I don't know. That's a rabbit hole I just began to go down, but there's a lot of, I don't know what was going on with Nixon, you know what I mean?
I mean, maybe Trump even tried to an extent.
Yeah. The problem is they're all just owned by the same thing. But anyways, so stage and commit. Then I thought about January 6th, how it's like, yeah, they staged it by getting all like the, you know, how many feds were in the crowd with the people, you know what I mean? So obviously they staged it. They got the people to go there. They got the people to go into the Capitol, all that shit. But also they committed it with how many feds were in the crowd, right? And the pipe bombs that never went off and blah, blah, blah. Then you could extrapolate to the Michigan Fed napping hoax, right? Where they had that poor guy that was homeless, living in the bottom of a vacuum shack, getting high every day, not giving a shit. And they basically gave him like a purpose and friends and paid for everything and did everything, took him on the fucking reconnaissance mission and had him draw on a piece of paper, even though he was literally retarded, had no idea what he was doing. And they used that to, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like they were trying to kidnap the governor. Give me a fucking break. But once again, you stage it, you get the fucking people to do it, actually get together and talk about it. Even though they weren't actually going to kidnap the governor, they still staged it. Then they committed it by infiltrating it with a shitload of feds and basically pushing it the way they wanted to push it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they'll hide all the information too. Like with January 6th, you couldn't even see the footage of it because it didn't go with their narrative. I'm sure that nothing came out about what you were just talking about, like until
Michigan
later on.
hoax. It was right before January 6th, and the dude who orchestrated the whole thing got promoted to the D.C. field office right before January 6th. It's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious. It's right fucking there. You know what I mean?
Did they really think that they would get the civilians to be violent criminals in this?
I mean, some of them probably were. There's a few always, but also they are getting pushed by the feds. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the whole thing is like produced by the feds.
But then a lot of them, you saw them just walking.
Yeah,
like nothing.
like
They're just chilling. You know,
almost every single video that ever came out, it was just people chilling. And in fact, the only aggression that came out was the one police officer I think shot that woman.
Oh yeah, Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah. That was like the only really negative situation there, I thought. I was like, well,
that was really, really negative. Yeah, they tried to say all these cops died, but it was not even related to the fucking. It was all just a hoax, like it always is. It's all just fake and gay. I don't want to hit this point too hard, but I also wanted to mention like the post 9/11, the Terror Factory book I always bring up by Trevor Aronson. Basically, they did the same thing. You know, they would stage these Muslims, they would set these Muslims up, basically. You know. And then the last one I had was OKC bombing. They basically staged it with McVeigh and whoever John Doe 2 was, but they also committed it because if you have any common sense at all, you would come to some kind of conclusion that would lead you to believe that that truck bomb didn't do the amount of damage to the Mirror building, you know, that it would have in reality. You do know what I mean? Let's just be honest. Say what you want. Obviously, I don't know. I'm retarded. Just letting you know what I think, you know? So you stage and commit, and you stage and commit, and you stage and commit. And they've literally been doing it since Operation Northwoods. It's fucking wild, man. But I've got a lot more. Do you want to pause for a minute?
Who started with Operation Northwoods anyways? I forgot the name of it. I looked it up, and I just can't remember who actually started.
The CD, who was the director of the CIA? It had to be either Alan Dulles or what was the other guy's name?
I'm going to have to look it up.
Was it Richard Helms maybe or something?
Didn't JFK fire him?
Yeah, he did. Alan Dulles, JFK did. It was probably Alan Dulles now that I think about it, now that you mentioned that, because Sidney Gottlieb was like The BFF was Alan Dulles. And also, real quick, I could get into Sidney Gottlieb real quick because that dude was wild. This man, he bought a slave house, like where slaves used to live, and he redid the whole thing, lived with his 4 kids and his wife in this repurposed slave house. He milked goats every day at 5:30 in the morning. He had a fucking gimpy leg. He had like a drag club foot and a really, really, really bad stutter, and he became a speech therapist and a line dancer. Wild, right? That's Sidney Gottlieb, and they called him the poisoner in chief. But then when you dig deeper, so the church committee, you've talked about the church committee, right, Randy?
Yeah.
So why did the church committee and all those CIA files that came out, they would redact so many names? Like everything was redacted, but they didn't redact Sidney Gottlieb, and you have to think like, why?
They're like, fuck that, dude.
Why though? You know what I mean? Who was it?
I can't find it.
I'm pretty sure it was Alan Dulles.
I can't find out who proposed it. I know who signed off on it though.
Who?
There's like 3 people that signed off on this being a good idea.
They were all chief of staffs.
Well,
I
like
think, and different.
General Lyman Lemser or whatever, and then
I've basically just been going at through the CIA angle of it.
yeah, there's like a few people who signed off on this being a good idea, but obviously it didn't go through.
Whatever the joint chief of staffs are.
Yeah,
they
but,
did it, and then Kennedy was like,
Robert. Oh yeah, Robert McNamara and the other guy I just mentioned. Those were the 2 guys that brought it to the table to be, signed in to action, but it doesn't say who brought up the idea originally. I was really kind of interested in whose like plan this really was.
It was the CIA's plan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It probably was the director of the CIA or somebody close to the director of the CIA.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, at least,
Yeah, it came to the top of the CIA for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very CIA thing to do.
So we should probably mention... Oh, never mind. Go ahead, Randy.
They destroy so much shit, too. Like, the only reason we had some of the shit about MK Ultra was that they stored it wrong. That they found it in, like, an old financial building or whatever, like, years later. And they redact so much stuff. I wonder if we actually knew, like, everything that they do.
There's no way you know everything.
No, I know, but they like pick and choose with the information we get too. Like,
well, yeah, and then like the information we get also, I'm thinking like since it's so advanced, right? Wouldn't it be like way more advanced now? What could they be doing right now to us that we just have no clue?
They released like 4 million documents.
Yeah. And
that,
it takes
like,
forever for you to go through, and then most of them are just nothing, and they bury the good shit deep that you have to actually
There's
find.
studies that they concluded that they released in the 70s and 80s. Like the information that you can gather from it, what did they do afterwards?
Yeah, we're like 50 years ahead of that now. 40 years ahead of that now.
What did they do later on with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the good books are written in the 70s because that's when the only information the substantive information we have came out. That's when FOIA started to be a thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So.
And who chooses like what's redacted and what is released? It's
that's
like
another good question.
Them, right? Like the CIA.
That goes back to why is Sidney Gottlieb not redacted when all those other CIA agents were? You know what I mean? It's weird. They totally burned. He's like a burned a spy. You know what I mean? They just totally burned him. They left his ass hanging in the fucking wind on the Frank committee. I guess they were like, we have to have somebody get fucked. Sorry, Sid.
The information that gets released is the information that they want to release because they control exactly what they release.
Yeah.
It doesn't but then if you really connect the dots to like what you see happening in the world, you're like, this is kind of exactly like what they did in the past, just new.
Like evolved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The new version. So
wild.
And now with the internet, they have such a grip on like everybody.
It also decentralizes information too a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good and bad thing.
Well, that goes back to what they're doing currently
with the TikTok ban that's going to move into.
They have to control exact narratives or things like the Bin Laden letter get out.
Yeah,
and people don't want you to read what that was.
Of course,
because
they don't want you to know the truth. Yeah.
It's the exact thing that everyone has been saying. It's
blowback, CIA blowback. You go over there and you bomb people, they're going to get pissed off and they're going to fucking fight back. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the exact thing that people are saying now that is currently happening, but it was written in like 2002.
Yep.
So everyone's like, this is very obvious, and we agree.
Mm-hmm. Not to get too meta, but I muted Tim Pool a long time ago, but I saw somebody else like took a screenshot of his tweet. And it's like, of course, he's just supporting fucking the TikTok ban too. It's like, what's wrong with him, man? Is he owned by Jews now
It's not
too?
even a ban. This
I
is a
know,
fake
making
ban.
it get sold to some Israeli,
Yeah.
whatever, same
It's not
thing.
even
They're
a
basically
ban.
banning it, in my opinion. And if they don't sell, then it's banned.
Are they
So
going
it
to
is a ban.
redesign the logo?
Well, if they decided we're not selling, then they would just ban it from the U.S. So it is technically a ban. You know what I mean? Ban or worse. What do you want? Do you want worse or ban?
It's
Yeah.
worse. Yeah.
So they're just trying to steal it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
stealing it?
Well, but they'll be like, well, we're gonna pay you, but yeah,
So-
you're paying for the best algorithm in the fucking world. That's why it's so
And
valuable.
they're like forcing them into it too. It's like, you can't do it, but we'll give you money for
Yeah.
it, basically.
Dude, and I watched that. You were talking about it, TJ. I don't know if it was the last episode or whenever. Recently, though, you were talking about how he was in front of Congress and they just kept asking him the most stupid fucking question. Hey, real quick, hit the like button and don't forget to follow us on Rumble. Follow us on X and Instagram at Riftards. Send us some funny or interesting reels on Instagram and we might react to them on the show. You should join our Discord community. Show us your best memes, steal some of ours, spark some conversation. All the links are in the description below. All right, let's get back at it. And he's like, Congressman, I'm from Singapore. He's like, yeah, but what about China? He's like, I told you, I'm only a fucking resident of Singapore, nowhere else. And it's just like, it's just so cringe.
Like, how does Ted Cruz not know that China and Singapore
And
are
Dan
different countries?
Crenshaw and
I know
every
that. I'm
Israeli
fucking
fucking pact.
Like, I barely graduated. How do I know more than Ted Cruz? There's no way. What's wrong with this shit?
How are we just so, we're so fucked, man. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get blackpilled.
I don't think we're fucked. I just
No.
think it's going to get fixed in a way that they don't want it to be fixed, I guess. So,
Only time will tell, man. I don't know.
yeah.
I hope so. I hope it does get fixed, honestly, but sometimes
Maybe, I mean, it's going to be, like, difficult for everyone if it does get fixed in the way that, you know.
in my
things get
darker
fixed.
moments, I really think that there might just not be a way, but hopefully there is still, you know?
There's a lot of small victories and shit along the way.
Yeah,
so
you just got to take light in the little victories we have, 100%.
if you look at it as a whole, it's like, holy shit, people are so fucking retarded. It's right in front of their faces, and they're just
You
like,
got to look at it like, I don't know, sounds gay, but when you have like a lot of problems in your life, like I did before, you know, I'm fat and in debt and all this shit, it's like you have to look at it one step at a time, do what you can to fix what you can at the same time that you can, and maybe that's what they're doing, and maybe that's why they're, I don't know, who knows? Maybe that's why they're fighting the way they're fighting, though, like some people. But then I'm thinking, no, they're all just retarded, so.
I just don't think.
Like, do you think Trump is, like, playing some kind of weird middle game where he's doing what he has to do? Or do you think he's just completely retarded?
I don't think he's stupid enough to. I don't think he's retarded. I just don't think he's stupid enough to kill himself
Oh,
because
okay.
he enjoys life too much. And if he was what he said he is, then they will kill him. In some way, they'll kill him, you know. But
I
he's
feel like
just
they've already
they've been
character
trying.
assassinated him.
Yeah, but I
to
just
the
don't think
max.
he's stupid enough to go through with the things he said he was going to go through. Like, you know, he's not going to drain the swamp.
Well, yeah,
per
he
se.
proved that for
It's
the
almost
first one.
impossible.
Well, now you say that it's almost impossible. That goes back to me saying, are we just fucked?
I don't think a human can probably drain the
Oh,
swamp.
okay.
Maybe a
Now
god
I
can,
see what
but
we're talking about.
there's no human that can probably solve it.
Oh, here comes Project Bluebeam. Fake Jew Jesus is coming to save us, dude.
they're gonna have Jesus in the sky with laser beams.
Shooting laser beams out of his eyes.
They're gonna have to figure out how to not let me touch that thing, because I'm gonna touch whatever comes down to see if it's real or not.
It's gonna be in the sky. You better get in your ball, bro.
Yeah, I'll be ready, dude. I've been
Augusta
building one.
Picard's fucking great-great-great-grandson, Randall Blair.
We'll see Randy floating in the air, the ball towards
Yeah,
Jesus.
we're gonna be on the ground looking up at him like, what a dumbass.
I just miss him, dude. I just go floating away. I'm like,
He
oh fuck.
reaches out and barely can't touch him. He just keeps going.
He's real, guys.
I touched him.
Oh man.
But for real, someone's got to throw a rock at him. Don't shoot it though, because if it's like real,
Oh my God, they shoot Jesus when they do.
It wouldn't work.
Oh my God, it'd be so good. They shoot Jesus with a nuke, and he
yeah, we
laser
find out if
beams us.
nukes are real.
He just
or
goes
not.
like this. The nuke turns around and goes right back at him. Get the fuck
Oh
out
my
of here,
God.
boy.
Be like a Star Wars movie.
He just has the Force, dude. That's where the Force came from.
Probably.
All right. So where do we leave off? Oh yeah, I want to talk about the JFK assassination next, dude. So the Bay of Pigs, 1961, and then Northwoods was 1962, and then the JFK assassination was 1963. So basically, my whole understanding is JFK said, "Fuck the CIA" after the Bay of Pigs, and then they tried to do Operation Northwoods. He said in his own words, break the CIA up to 1,000 pieces and scatter him into the wind. Right? You've heard RFK. My uncle said that. He says it all the time on his stupid campaign. But anyways, so after all this, and there's another big factor that Randy and I started to get into a little bit this morning with the whole Foreign Agents Registration Act. RFK was the Attorney General when JFK was the president, right? And they instructed AIPAC to register as a foreign agency, and they did not like that. So there's always the Jew angle. So I'm just going to throw that in there too. And then I know, TJ, you got the mob angle on the JFK assassination too.
Yeah, I feel like they both connected.
I think that it's I think it's mostly the CIA and Israeli intelligence, but I think the mob probably is tied in with them, obviously, in some way.
Yeah.
With the banks, yep. And I think JFK was stepping on too many toes, dude. You can't step on the CIA's toes, the Federal Reserve's toes, Israel's toes, and the mob's. And
the thing that ties them all together, like with the mob, is the bank angle.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a combined owner of the banks that would be behind it.
So then we get into the assassination, right? So let's see. I've got this to pull up here for us to watch, I think. Right? Or no, it's not to watch. It's to read. All right. So Jack Ruby, he's the guy that I've actually pulled this up. I'm miking it up right now really bad. Sorry. All right. So Jack Ruby, he killed... who killed Kennedy again? I can't remember his name. Lee Harvey Oswald, right? So Jack Rubenstein killed Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, where I want to tie this in, this is a long article, and I'll put the link to the article in the description of the video for sure.
Wasn't it quickly afterwards?
Yeah, very quickly afterwards. So Ruby, they took Lee Harvey Oswald, and in public, he walked up and just shot Lee Harvey Oswald. Jack Ruby did, right? They arrested him. He goes. So Ruby had an isolated cell constructed for him to live in as he awaited his fate and contemplated the possibility of being executed. The proposal stated that there's reason to believe that environmental manipulation can affect the tendencies. So this is all dumb. Basically what matters is Jolly West. It's not dumb. I'm retarded. But anyways, Jolly West was the doctor that saw Jack Ruby when he was awaiting his sentencing, right, for everything that happened. Jolly West is a known MK Ultra doctor. He's the guy who killed the elephant with LSD, and it was like a big deal. I don't know, you guys probably have heard of it, but he's a very, very well known. So in Jolly West's report on Jack Ruby, West said that hypnosis and sodium penthol were included among possible techniques to be used on Ruby in his proposal to CIA for continuing his MK Ultra work with them. He proposed that the combined use of hypnotic techniques and automatic drugs be exercised, sodium penthol as the point is, it's literally some MK Ultra shit on Jack Ruby, the dude who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. It's just obvious,
That's
right?
crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I mean,
This is all the old stuff here. This article is gold. I read the whole article this morning. I'm definitely going to put it in the description, so you should check it out. But there's... Oh, go ahead.
Lee Harvey Oswald, there's no way he shot Kennedy.
Yeah, there's a lot to do with
it's
that.
It's just not even
the grassy
scientifically
knoll
possible.
And the bullet is definitely bullshit, yep. The magic bullet theory.
The whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
It's impossible.
Yep. So it's all fake and gay. But this is the part where I was like, I didn't know this, dude. So... in 1973, they basically started to, serious government funding went into the Stargate program starting in 1973. It might not have been called the Stargate program yet, but that's what it was eventually going to be called, right? And that lasted until the 90s, right? Now, Jolly West went from MK Ultra to the Stargate program, and coincidentally, MK Ultra ended in 1973 as well. Let's see right here. So they officially terminated MK Ultra in 73, and that's when they started ramping up the Stargate program, which we've talked about on previous episodes, the Gateway Process episode, I think, to be exact.
Yeah.
Where it's about remote viewing and all this shit. So
they probably figured out a better way of
right
fucking...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, the research project's stated goal was studying anomalous phenomena such as remote viewing and remote interference. The experiments themselves focused on remotely altering someone's perceptions and nervous systems, essentially making the research dual purpose. If it had been successful, the research could have been used not only as part of a psychic remote viewing program, but design a way to remotely interfere with someone's perceptions, personality, or consciousness. That's the shit we've been talking about with frequency and hypnosis and drugs and shit.
Yeah, so if you
It
don't
all
even have
ties
to,
together,
if
dude.
you don't even have to get the person and get them to do LSD and get them to do all this shit, if you can
Right.
just like remotely interfere with their shit somehow that they figured out, they can get. So they probably fucked with the dude that allegedly killed Kennedy, and then they fucked with Ruby, who killed the dude that killed Kennedy, to cover their shit up.
Yep.
I don't think they fucked with the dude that killed Kennedy. I think they just.
He was a patsy.
Yeah.
He said he was a patsy. He was literally saying it. He's like, I'm a patsy. I didn't do it. Blah, blah, blah. He was saying that. And then that's when they had Ruby kill him.
He went and shut his mouth, so they had this guy kill him.
Yeah, they went, and it was just like Sirhan Sirhan with RFK. There's definitely a...
So the guy
there's
that
triggers,
the guy didn't even do anything.
Allegedly, yeah.
What
It's
if he
like
just didn't
Stephen
remember
Paddock
doing
in
it?
Las Vegas, too, though.
Yeah.
He probably didn't do anything either.
It's also another situation where it's just not possible.
The Las Vegas shooting?
Yeah.
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 Agreed.
There's just these situations.
Why don't they think
where
about this shit? Like,
They do.
they all know. Anyone involved in these cases has to know. Like, the cops aren't stupid, right? I mean,
Right.
they have to know that
100%.
it's not possible
Yep.
for a shooter to do these things. They know the bullet can't be shot from there.
They've got forensic people on it. They know.
Yeah, the
Sure,
people who
100%.
did the
just don't care.
investigations, they know.
They know people are too dumb to really look into it or care enough to really look into it. And the ones that won't reach enough people for it to matter. And they can just keep going on. Whatever happens, they just move on and they
And
move on to the
nothing
next
happens.
thing, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. Yeah.
And it's not like people haven't been saying this since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
People have said this is bullshit from the beginning.
They just
and
come out with
they
their
just-
own gay things. Like they had to justify the Kennedy shooting with something called the quote magic bullet theory.
oh yeah,
That's what they call it. They call it the magic bullet theory. That's what they have to justify it with. The magic bullet theory. Child, please. Just saying. That's wild.
That's
That's what they have to
fucked up.
call it. Come on, man. So that's kind of wild. But
It's like, prove it to me, and they're like, well, there's this magic bullet. It's like, okay.
I'm gonna pull up this short video here. I want us to watch. It has to do with
And
it.
it's the people that are all about science and shit that use that theory, bro.
Yeah, the magic bullet theory, and everything to do with it.
Science never lies.
All right, so this is Judge Knapp, and it's only a minute and a half. He's going to talk about when he talked to Trump personally about releasing the JFK files. So let's get into it.
In my last conversation with President Trump in the White House, he called me a lot. And this is after January 6th, so it's 2 weeks before, or a week before he's leaving office. He wanted to run past me the names of people he was going to pardon and sentences he was going to commute. He wanted my opinion on them. Some of them I knew. I said, how you doing? He said, not too well. And he went off into a tangent about what he thought happened with the election. I said, you made a promise to the public many times and to me privately that you haven't kept. What? I'll take care of it right now. I said, you promised you would release the records of the JFK assassination. He said to me, Judge, if they showed you what they showed me, you wouldn't have released it either. And I said, who's they and what did they show you? And then he said, Judge, someday when we're on the phone, and then he raised his voice, and there aren't 15 people listening to the phone call, back to a normal voice, I'll tell you.
Oh my God.
I mean, this makes it sound even worse. Who are they? Probably somebody in the intelligence community. What did they show him? JFK's brains blown out?
This is it. It was said by one person that after the Kennedy assassination, there has been no president. They have only been factotums of this.
So yeah, I thought that was definitely worth checking.
Yeah, that's
out.
pretty fucking crazy. I wonder what they showed him, and I wonder who they are.
Me too.
You just
honestly.
become president and like go into this room and there's two giant fucking.
They drop a
Nephilim.
big binder of fucking shit on you. Like, read up, buddy.
These are the rules and guidelines, bitch. Like, you can't do this, say this, can't go here, do this. Now go play golf, dumbass.
Honestly, and that's what they all do too. Literally all of them, and they all bitch about how much the other one played golf, and they all do it.
Like, you better just take a break because you ain't got nothing to do here. You're
Man,
not in charge of shit. There ain't no work. Show up on TV once a week. How about that?
Yeah, just don't fuck it up.
all right. So
And
I
Biden
can-
just goes and fucks it up.
And I don't think he has anything to do with anything.
Yeah, me neither.
He's literally just out there roaming around trying to live his best life. Except for the fact that he is probably laundering money through Ukraine. I mean,
Who is?
Biden.
Oh yeah, for sure. And China, they proved that he took money from China. No one cares, but we're banning TikTok allegedly because of time.
The president of the United States is guilty of obviously laundering money through these countries.
But then he's like, it's TikTok. TikTok's the problem with China. No, motherfucker, you're the problem with China.
He's also just too old to defend himself in court. Okay.
Yeah, I remember Andy was telling me about
It
that.
goes back to that.
Yeah.
He's literally guilty, but we can't do anything against him because
But he can run for president again.
Well, it's not even a job, so I guess you don't do anything.
He's a puppet, 100%. He's controlled by people that are never elected,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, whatever country might be infiltrating our country, we're smart in the very beginning. And that's where they went first. They went for the unelected bureaucrats, the people who are in positions for a long-ass time. So
Because you need
the
a bunch
FBI
of different
director,
people, they're only
the
400
CIA
a
director,
year
people
terms.
high-end at these places, those are the people that you get. They don't have to get reelected, you know what I mean?
I mean, they've been doing it for like centuries and centuries. So America was like kind of not the easiest one to crack probably for them because
At first especially, yeah.
they had like elected officials and there's so many of them to try to get into. But then they realized that they probably get into positions that aren't electable to, really get a hold on the system.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're in there.
The world wars are what did it because that's what opened up the security state. We needed to be able to spy on our enemies, and that's
Even judges and shit, can't they
you-
have a super long term?
Oh yeah,
So-
Supreme Court justices just serve for life.
When they say America is like the land of the free, free from what? That was the real question I've always had. It's like
Supposed to be free from your own government was the original
Yeah.
idea.
free. We're all free here.
Yeah, we started this government because we were tired of the tyranny from England. That
But
was
they
the
designed
point.
this government so it couldn't be taken by, those kind of people.
At the beginning they did, but you know how it goes. It just grows and grows. And once you give a government a little bit of power, they're never going to relinquish that power. They're going to grow on that power. And that's where this all basically comes from, in my opinion.
Yep, every single time they'll be like, "Oh, this is just temporary." No, it's not temporary. Whatever
It's never
whatever
been
power that they
temporary.
can seize, and
Even the road projects from 2008 aren't temporary.
Well,
They're
just like the
still
Ohio
going.
Turnpike. Remember the Turnpike? It was supposed to be temporary.
yeah,
that
you only have to
paid
pay for it for a little while. Now the price goes up.
up and up and up. Yeah.
It's like what?
But,
I thought this.
If they could, they'd make you pay for every road you travel on.
Yeah,
Oh, 100% they would.
that bitch was paid for probably a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we could just
You
keep
got to
making
pay for
money.
the upkeep. You notice how you never see a pothole in that road, damn it?
True though.
They
It's the only road that's good traveling.
it's gotten to the point where they will commit the act to get the funding and the power and the money. That's where
Yeah.
we're at.
It's like in the name of terrorism. A lot.
They
of the time.
always need more and more and more.
If they can put fear into people, people will relinquish a lot of their rights.
Anytime they tell you that they need to take more of your rights, the answer is always in my head.
No.
No way.
right.
Like, how's that gonna help me at all?
Yeah, like, if I die going out here, then okay. Like that's why we have the military to take care of it. If there was a problem, let it be a problem. Stop trying to take control of every single citizen to solve a non-existent problem.
100%.
My liberty is way more important to me than my security. And the government can't really secure me anyways, and I don't really want their security, to be honest.
Like, what are you gonna do if they
Just leave me alone. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
What if
The biggest threat to me is my own government.
Yeah, what if
Literally.
they're gonna let the immigrants in, and then when the immigrants attack us, we're gonna call them for help? Is that what they want us to do?
No. That's why we all need to think about how we're going to defend ourselves if we need to. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Everybody needs to take everything into their own hands. You can't be relying on the government or anyone else to save you or come to your rescue, We all got to do whatever we can.
A really
to be
dark way to look at it
self-sufficient.
is: do they want us to call for martial law when the
Yes, they
immigrants take
do.
over?
That's what they want.
Is this their game plan?
I think that's the ultimate end goal is to do. I think they have a lot of different angles to get to this point. Immigrants being one of them. A big domestic, a terrorist event. There's a lot of different angles they're trying to work all at the same time, but it's all to cause
they want
something
all-
big enough to really they want to reshape their purview and become like actually China. You know
all
what
the
I mean?
regular people have to demand it, though.
That's what they need. They need something big enough for that, though.
Yeah.
I think
They don't know how
COVID
they're
was
gonna
a
get it.
test in a lot of ways to see
And
like
a lot of
where
people
Oh, they
failed.
passed,
But I
though.
think, because of COVID, it had unintended consequences, and afterwards, people are now reflecting. And I know this because of people that are in my own life, like Kayla's brother is one of them, her one brother, and it's like they're now reflecting back and they're looking at it and thinking, "What the fuck," And
Yeah.
I think that you're right. We did fail, for sure. I mean, we wore masks and locked down and did all the gay-ass shit. But I think that the unintended consequences are that more people are awake now than ever because of COVID. And I think it radicalized me beyond even the point I was before, because I was already awake, and now I'm just like totally fucked.
Actually, I'll be honest. That whole thing was a wake-up call for me.
Because you knew, but you didn't know.
I always knew. I was like, this is all dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Put the mask
It's
on.
like, why are they being so serious about it? Why are they
like,
trying to control everything?
I'm like, nobody's going to listen to this, because I was thinking of like, so my head's always stuck in the space of like my generation.
Yeah, the 1990 generation.
Yeah, I'm always stuck where like when people told us to do stupid shit back then, we all laughed like to ourselves.
Yeah, we're like, fuck you.
You know, once the F.A.R.A figure left, we're all
shit.
like, we're not doing that. We'll go right back to doing it.
So what
like,
happened?
What happened? I mean, obviously they taught these kids that they have to listen.
They went harder or something?
Yeah.
I mean, they really like broke these people down, I think.
Public school was a problem.
There's no way that
So,
people
like,
will go with this, right?
These people would look up to celebrities and stuff now, and with like the new
yeah,
social
and the
media and stuff,
celebrities are
you
all
can pick
out
your
there.
own celebrity. Like everyone has like someone to look up
And-
to, and when they're so terrible, it's like,
But all the celebrities
They
are
have
saying the same
horrible-
thing. You know, get vaccinated and put the mask on. Don't go outside. You'll save lives.
yeah, they open
Yeah,
up
you're
their little
right.
feed and like all these like, oh, this person's so
Makes
cool.
a lot of
I wanna
sense.
be like
Everywhere.
them.
And if you
Makes a
go
lot of
against it, you're
sense.
going against Beyonce, bro. How
And
could
in the
you go
90s,
against
we would
Beyonce?
see some stuff on TV, but we wouldn't have it like right in our face, like someone telling us like,
I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, when
Like,
I was a
late in high
kid, though,
school,
even minor things like when the fucking fisher guy, the guy on the lake that tells you how many fish you're allowed to catch, he'd tell us, oh, you can't catch more than 30. You have to put like 4 of them back, right? So we'd just take the goddamn boat back to the fucking dock, put the fish in a cooler, and go back outside. We did not listen to the rule. What?
Oh, yeah.
You could only catch 28 perch today.
yeah.
So we're like, no, not today. You know, and
For
But
real,
now
though.
everybody just, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like
It's weird.
everyone just believes the rules are just the right way. for some
Because
reason.
there's a difference between like morals and like a way of life and like our culture of like just doing the right thing and stupid ass government rules like that are retarded. You
Yeah,
can only catch
my-
so many fish. Shut the
Oh,
fuck
but
up. You know?
but
like what?
But if you're this race, you're allowed to catch as many as you want.
Probably,
That's
they're
why
doing
my dad.
now.
That's why my dad's like, no,
That's
I'll do
retarded.
whatever I want.
Yeah,
That's retarded.
100%.
If they're doing it, I'm doing it. There's no way.
I don't
you
know
know?
what it is nowadays.
I don't know. Maybe my parents just taught me a different way. I guess I don't know.
I just,
The family, it's a combination of everything. The family's been pretty destroyed too.
I've been grappling with this thought, and it's like, skin color doesn't matter at all, but culture does. You know. And I feel like Christian culture and like European Christian culture, like the fundamentals of it are just unbeatable. That's what they're trying to destroy. The family, the Blackstones, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, all the shit that was like our culture was built on. They're bringing all these people in who don't believe in it. They don't give a shit about it. And they're now fueling this race bullshit.
You know,
when it's not about race, it's about culture, man.
I think they do value it, but they want it all for themselves. They want to be the only ones that can do it.
Why?
So
What's
they can
the point of
control
that?
everyone.
That's gay and fake. No, I'm talking about like they're bringing all these immigrants and all these people from like other countries that don't give a fuck about our values and our culture, and they're
Well,
just
they
like
already
throwing
broke.
them in
They
here.
already broke it in that country.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do here now.
Yeah.
But
So they've already.
we have to just fight within. We all have
Since-
to do our part, you know.
America's biggest weakness is the fact that we let so many people in to the party, right? A lot of these
we have too big
countries,
of a welfare state for it.
yeah, a lot of these countries, they already broke the people of like free thinking.
They're
So-
like trying to tame a wild horse, basically.
Yeah.
Just like everything they can to fucking get the United States.
Yeah, because you can change the government, but it's hard to change like that foundation that we're built on, like the people, like the American people are built on. That like fuck you to England. We're gonna literally get in a boat, sail across the fucking world with such a high probability to die, and build this gigantic ass culture here in this gigantic ass country, because fuck you. But then it's like we all just get fat and lazy and subverted, and you know, time. It's basically just a big loop of time, like you were saying.
Back then it
before.
was harder too because they actually had to physically come across the fucking ocean. Now you can't really like do that same type of shit. They'll just fly around wherever. They'll just drop a bomb on your ass. Like they had to come with fucking muskets and cannons and shit. Now it's like they know where we're at. They know where every single like
Well, we all carry a phone around. So.
yeah, they know everything about everything.
I mean, are we just gonna get CB walkie-talkie kind of things?
Probably. They can
Dude,
probably
how crazy you want to get here?
they can probably pick up on that shit too, though.
I've been toying around with turning off my internet when I'm not using it. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's not that crazy though, because I mean, the AI that can see exact locations of your body based on your Wi-Fi signal in your house.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's like.
And if there was like really an uprising like there was back in the day, you know what I mean? Like they have drones and shit. They've been practicing overseas.
Yeah,
Droning people.
drones are effective at some things, but they're not effective at everything.
did you
You
see
can't win
the-
a war with
did
just
you see
drones,
the-
but they are effective.
But you can take out like
you
little
see the
fucking
videos?
units of.
Yeah.
The videos of the drones that the Israelis are using against Palestinians. Oh my God!
It probably sounds horrible.
Yeah, like apparently they're using this war, this
Jew
conflict,
drones.
as
Testing.
a test area for drone combat.
Yeah.
So,
They got
That sounds
tested somewhere.
yeah,
I just picture this thing that like picks up heat signatures, you know, and it's just like
they already know where everyone lives and like everyone is in the house. They could definitely kill you through the wall based on your Wi-Fi signals. They don't even need to bomb your house. They know where you are in the house. You can shoot a high-powered rifle through a wall. I mean,
Well, this has been a great, great white pill moment. Let's move on to the next thing. They'll just kill you in your house. All right. Anyways, moving on.
I mean, they could if they wanted.
Have you guys heard of COINTELPRO?
mm-mm.
So it's an intelligence program, right? Counterintelligence program. And I'm just going to read it from here. It's from 1956 to 1971. It was a covert and illegal FBI spying program. Their goals were surveilling, infiltrating, and disrupting American political movements such as feminists, anti-war, civil rights, black power, communists, environmentalists, animal rights, the KKK, socialists, and then it was like the Indian for American and the Mexico for American and the Cuban American, like all these other like political movements in America. And so I'd say the thing that everybody will know about is the whole MLK thing. You know, how they sent him the letter. They told his wife he was cheating on him, told him to kill himself, all that shit. That was all part of COINTELPRO. So just think about the implications of the FBI doing that to all these different, right? And then we have to tie that to, so real quick first, COINTELPRO, right? They're going after all these basically like communist and others. They're not us, right? Like we're not feminists, we're not communists, we're not socialists, we're not black power leaders, right? Well, we ignored it basically because that's what people do because they didn't come for you, so who gives a shit? So we let the feds do that, right? And then after that, in the 90s, they come out with PATCON. You guys know what PATCON is? It's Patriot Conspiracy. It's the FBI they were basically infiltrating anti-government, quote-unquote, racist, anti-Semitic, and, quote, Christian extremist groups in the 90s, and it had a lot to do with the OKC bombing and Timothy McVeigh and Elohim City. And basically they turned what they did against everyone else
No, they're coming for
to
Christians.
the Christian
and-
white people now. You know, now they're coming for you too. It's like, when are we going to fucking put our foot down? We should have put our fucking foot down in the very beginning. We shouldn't let them come for anyone, dude. And then they're coming for you. And now I'm going to pull this thing up that I wanted to fucking... This is how it all came together. When I was pulling up, you guys probably thought I was like retarded. Not this. We're going to watch this at the end. You guys were like, why are you pulling this up? Because of this, dude. This is what I'm talking about. These people are all listed as white that committed these crimes, right? They don't look very white to me, dude. I'm just saying.
Ethnicity unknown, race
See this?
white. Non-Hispanic white.
See what I'm saying?
Man, white crime's going up.
This is what they have to do to push white crime, dude. For real.
And then people will be like, all the national crime rate is so high. They could just lie about that too. They're just...
Yeah.
Those guys
100%.
are all white, huh?
Than Van Wen.
He's white.
Since when are fucking Koreans white?
So we just let all this shit go because we're dumb. And we should have fought this from the very fucking beginning.
Oh, it's just a
Straight up, dude.
just an
100%.
error in their system.
Of
That's
course.
something
And it's
they'll say
always
probably.
and it always goes the same. It's just like it's an error in the ballot system where all the ballots just went for Joe Biden though. Yeah, just
Oops.
an error in the
Error.
fucking system.
Everyone's
where
white.
It just made all the criminals white.
Error in the AI. Make all the historical figures.
Error.
Yeah.
It's always an error.
Yeah, it's a
That's probably
mistake,
what they
yeah.
would say too, and it's just
So that was kind of wild. That ties into COINTELPRO, ties into PATCON, all that. So, yeah, pretty wild, man. Honestly.
So the white criminals are just like all kinds of different races, and the racist AI makes George Washington black. It seems like they're just attacking white people from every
I don't
angle.
think it has to do with. I mean, right now it does feel that way, right? But think
That's
about
just
what
the
it was like
current-
right after 9/11 with the Muslims, like I was saying earlier, you know?
It's just the current.
Then you
state.
think back before with the civil rights movement, it was the black people, and then it was the Muslims
They've
after
already-
9/11.
they
And it's
already
been
got it all.
white people since 90-ish till now still, but it's just like they don't care. It's just them versus us. The only thing that they don't ever attack is what?
the same group,
I was going to say,
The-
what group do you never see the establishment
and
come
you're
out
not even
against?
allowed to attack them in any way.
The whites with funny little hats.
Whites, yes. Yeah, the funny hat people.
You can't say anything bad about them. You can't
You
attack
mean,
them.
it's
They're,
just
like,
crazy.
unapproachable. You can't. They're beyond reproach here. So
So I just have a couple more things, and then we can get into that video and riff around a little bit. But so there's this thing called the Smith-Mundt Act, right? So it came out in 1948, and it gave the CIA the ability to use propaganda against foreign targets, like other countries, right? And that was in 1948. So the CIA had been doing that since 1948. Well, in 2012, Obama decided that he was going to modernize the Smith-Mundt Act and take out the part where you can't use it against American people. So now it's literally illegal for the CIA to propagandize us since 2012. So just think of how our culture has went since 2012. Think about all the fucking commercials. Think about everything. Like how far we've...
Fucking plummeted.
Everything is literally gay now.
Yeah.
Literally. What the
I mean,
fuck?
they're trying to make Jesus gay.
That's what
on
I'm
this-
saying. Everything is fucking gay now.
Well,
Wait.
I mean, it's not to bring up the fact that
They're trying to make
just-
Jesus gay.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
saw
how's
those
that work?
The
commercials.
Super Bowl
where-
commercial.
Come on, the Super Bowl commercial where Jesus loves gay people and he washes the feet of black criminals or whatever. But anyways,
The Super Bowl commercial was really gay.
and then I wanted to talk about Operation Mockingbird and tie that in too, because that's an attempt to manipulate American news media. It was during the Cold War era, and basically they paid journalists and media outlets to push the narrative, right? And that was before they even modernized the Smith-Mundt Act. And
why would that
TJ
be a
was
good
saying-
idea? I don't understand.
Do they even have to pay the people that they own though? Like they already own the company, I guess.
I mean, that's now for sure. This was Cold War era, so
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking like 80s probably, 80s and 90s when this was happening.
What was like Obama's reasoning to modernize it? Did they just say, "Oh, I'm just
I
gonna do
didn't
this"?
look into it. I should have.
That's crazy.
You think
This was the
Obama-
end of my
like,
research.
once
I should have
again-
kept going.
You have to
Probably.
really understand that when you think about the president doing something, don't think about him doing it himself.
Just the act done.
Just
like,
follow
why
the
is-
money and figure out who would want this to be done. They're paying him to do this.
Why does it always... when you said that, where does my brain immediately go? It's
always the
I hate
same.
my life.
Like, why would Obama want to propaganda?
He wouldn't.
America? Yeah,
you
he
heard
wouldn't-
what he was like
wouldn't wanna do
before
it.
he was president? Do you remember what he was like when he ran for president?
Yeah.
He said everything that I wanted to hear. He was like the perfect candidate. Almost.
Perfect
Not
little
perfect.
liar.
Not perfect, I will say. But he was a very good candidate. Anti-war, anti-debt. Like, he wasn't like super into like all this gay marriage shit and all this super, super progressive shit. He was just like a middle-of-the-road liberal that I would want to vote for. You know what I mean? A back-in-the-day old-school liberal. But then what was he when he became president? Literally the black version of George Bush, but gay. I'm not even joking. Like, he just dropped more bombs and turned everything fucking gay.
He just followed the exact
And people are like,
path,
George
though.
Bush is bad. Like, I get George Bush. You can say he's worse because he started the war on terror. But Obama accelerated it and made it gay. So it's like, I don't know.
Did he? Like,
Well, yeah. Dick Cheney and the Deep State and all that shit. Henry Kissinger. There's a lot to it. I know.
I don't know. When you look at, like, why these wars are started,
They're all in the Middle East, and they're all for one thing.
Yeah, I just don't think it's
not
the
one
president's choice to start them or not start them anymore. He has, like, no say.
That's why they just want somebody in there that will.
I forgot to bring in
Play the role.
the Vietnam angle to the JFK thing, too. He was also trying to, like, really tone down all the wars.
You know,
and
maybe-
obviously the CIA and the military-industrial complex.
Oh, my
wouldn't
God,
like
that's
that.
it. Trump was just he had too much peace during his presidency. That's what it really was.
He wanted more peace, but a lot of his peace was kind of fake and gay too. Like the Abraham Accords, he was like, I'm just gonna pay all these Muslims a lot of money, and they're gonna say yes, Israel is real, and everything's gonna be great. Like, no, it's not really how it works, but okay. That's what he did, though. That's what the Abraham Accords were, for real.
And they're never gonna believe that.
I will take that over what's happening now.
They're never gonna believe that Israel is real.
Yeah. But they'll take the money and pretend. You know what I mean? Like Saudi Arabia will be like, yeah, give me some more money. I'll pretend for you, buddy. Egypt's like, yeah, give me some more money. I'll pretend for you. And they don't give a shit. Yeah.
It's
Boys
crazy.
are definitely girls.
Whatever
give me
you
the
say.
money. They leave.
The
And
end
I'm like,
result
what
of
the
World
fuck?
War II is really insane. Like how it all ends up at this point.
Who was the general? General Patton, dude. He was right. We fought the wrong enemy, dude.
Yeah,
we should have fought the Russians, man. Those damn commies.
But when you really look at like how Israel is a state now, and how everything is all fucked up worldwide.
What were you saying about JFK, about Israel? He said that Palestine wasn't England's to give away. He was saying some shit that you don't say when you're...
It wasn't. And
I know. He said all the truth, and then he had his brother, like I said, who was Attorney General. He was about to make AIPAC register as a foreign agent. So it all, it's all there. It's all there.
Once there's a lot of backlash now for it, AIPAC, right? So like
right now, yeah.
Once it gets to a certain point, they're just gonna rebrand this, right? They're gonna have to like rebrand it. They're still not gonna like.
If they haven't
already. It might be to the point
already.
where they have to rebrand out of like everything because they really have destroyed. Remember that thread we read a little bit of with that dude with like the Trump fucking picture like this, and he's like, "The Jews are just gonna move to Ukraine." I'm just like, I'm not schizo enough for this shit, bro. But if it happens, I will come back to this tweet. I promise.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny. This is as real.
Everything.
There's way more land here. They're not going to give up Israel. They're just going to take more. That's what they'll do.
They're gonna use Russia to make new Israel.
That's the whole thing. America's trying to fight with Russia so we can have more Israel, dude. Perfect.
Oh man.
The
what
United
we
States
need.
leaders are like with Putin. They're like, look, it's not for us. It's for Israel.
And he's like, yeah, I know.
You could probably get away with anything if it's for Israel.
I mean, at this point. But yeah, I think that's, I have Marilyn Monroe on here.
So Jolly West,
And
the
stuff,
dude that
yeah.
was involved with like multiple MK Ultra, was
He was the Oklahoma department of MK Ultra. He worked directly with Sidney Gottlieb, who was the head of MK Ultra for a really long time, man. He was the guy who saw Jack Ruby before he quote unquote went crazy in his cell by himself.
Yeah.
He
It's
went
all
crazy
just
and
right
couldn't
there.
stand trial, and that's what happened. He literally bashed his own head against the wall until nothing was left. And then he was hiding under a bed thinking people were trying to kill him outside and shit.
It like really brings me into these how do these same people end up in the same situations with different people all the time though? Like even celebrity wise, like the personal trainer for Michael Jackson or the security for Michael Jackson's also the security for B. Diddy. Like how do these people Michael Jackson dies and this is the only guy around, but now he's also with P. Diddy. The whole thing is just the same people are always
Sketch.
involved.
I definitely see where you're drawing the correlation because Jolly West is the same way.
Yeah,
He's always been around MK Ultra. He's always been around all these weird fucking...
And they always continue to be involved somehow, even though
It's
everyone
completely
knows
on
who they are.
purpose.
Yeah, there's a book called Aboriginal Heartland of the Real. It's by this really good art. It doesn't even matter. The point is she's writing a second book, and the alleged thing is that Jolly West saw Timothy McVeigh too.
And then
Which would be like, so now you're connected to OKC and pretty much everything at this point.
What happened at the
personal
Boston
trainer
Marathon?
is like Michael
I don't know, we
Jackson
should look
and
into that,
Ye's. Like these, how are the same people involved with these celebrities after like crazy things happen?
I want to look into the Aurora, Colorado shooting too. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like the same people continue to be involved in the same exact behaviors
Yep.
historically, and they continue forward with it.
Because there's probably some kind of blackmail on them and they have to follow the rules, and because of which they're never going to get burned and they're always going to keep doing really heinous, horrible shit as long as they're protected enough to do it. And eventually maybe they'll get burnt like Sidney Gottlieb, but for the most part they just live out their shitty little lives and get away with everything, you know?
How did that man line dance with a club foot?
I don't know, dude. His story himself. So there's 2 books about him, basically. One book is really, really about him. It's literally called Poisoner in Chief, and it came out pretty recently. But I feel like that book, there's like, it takes a lot of the Search for the Manchurian Candidate, which is that book from the 70s that I really enjoy, and it kind of steals that. And I watched an interview of the author of Poisoner in Chief, and he basically admitted that he got all of his students, because he was a teacher, he got all of his students to do all the research, a lot of the research for the book, and then he wrote the book with their research and his research too, allegedly. So I feel like a lot of them just read the Search for the Manchurian Candidate, and they used a lot of that. But there was also a lot of FOIAs that you were talking about, I think, on either the last episode or the episode before when we were talking about the MK stuff. But
Yeah.
Sidney Gottlieb is, in the Poisoner in Chief, though, the whole point of where I was going, is it gives you a really in-depth look at his life. Like what it was like, what he did. And he wasn't that horrible of a person. A lot of what he became stemmed from World War II broke out, and he really wanted to go fight for his country, like every fucking person in World War II, right? But obviously, with a club foot and a stutter, they're not going to send you to fight in a war, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like he wanted to be as patriotic as he possibly could. He wanted to do something to help the country in this time and blah, blah, blah. But once you get in there, and then there's the Cold War, and everybody's got you scared of the Russians to such an extent you're willing to do anything. And a lot of the problem was they were so afraid that the Russians were a lot farther along on their, like, whatever you would call their MK Ultra project, where they could actually read minds, because they got Germany's research and they were like, holy shit, we're so far behind. You know what I mean? How far ahead are the Russians? And then companies use that fear against our government, our CIA, and Sidney Gottlieb in particular, to be like, we have all this LSD, but we might sell it to the Russians, so you better buy it. So we would just buy like literally the world's supply of LSD and just like wild shit like that.
Holy fuck.
Pretty much he was a wild guy, and he loved LSD. Sidney Gottlieb did. Sorry, though. I'm just rambling.
LSD is dangerous, man.
Yeah, 100%.
That shit's wild. I'd never touch it.
I would.
MK Ultra myself.
You got to be in a good spot, a good place,
Yeah.
and be with good people, and it'll be fine. It's just like mushrooms, you know?
I would do mushrooms for sure, but
100%. It's all about the vibe, you know?
yeah. I just
Well, you wouldn't want to
I don't
take
want
LSD with a doctor from the CIA.
No,
so-
I wouldn't want to be at the CIA and them.
What are you talking-
They literally would slip each other's fucking acid. They wouldn't tell anyone. It's like a whole game, because they thought you can't test something on people who are expecting it. So
Yep.
either A, you have to do it without them knowing, or you have to by force do something to them and not tell them what they're doing. So that's
They're
why.
probably right though.
Yeah, but it's also very dark when you extrapolate that to like other
Yeah, one of the
scientific
agents,
stuff, you know?
a CIA agent got dosed 77 days in a row or some shit by, like, unknowingly. He was just on acid every day.
Yeah, there's stories of them going crazy. Frank Olson jumped out a window. There was another guy who went crazy in downtown Washington, D.C. was like running around like a crazy person.
We watch someone just doses you, and you're like, man, I've been feeling really good lately. Like a week into your fucking trips. Just micro-dosing LSD.
That's wild.
I couldn't imagine. Just like, wouldn't you notice, though, that, like, someone's fucked up?
You would think.
Probably not.
You just
No.
feel
If it was
great.
micro enough, maybe not, right?
You wouldn't notice it now.
If they gave you a lot, you would for sure notice
Yeah.
it. You were just like tripping your balls off. But
They're not tripping
He
balls.
keeps, like, saying
they're
some
just
trigger
tripping a
word. I'm
little,
like, why do
man.
you keep saying
I
that?
think they did both. Sometimes they would just be like, here you go. And other times like, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. They wanted to test every aspect of it, though. You know,
Here's your coffee, Joe. And just like, no,
for
you
real.
doing this,
No,
dude?
that's literally. There was a story about a guy when they would go to like parties, like office parties. They would have their own bottle of wine that they would carry around with them. They're like, no one's touching this shit. Stay the fuck away. Like that's how it was at the CIA in this time. And imagine we're fighting this horrible Cold War against Russia, and what were we actually doing? We're trying to dose each other with CIA or with LSD at the CIA. Come on, man. Kind of wild to think about how retarded our government
Someone
actually
just sneaks
is.
up behind you and injects you with something.
Well, I
You're
mean-
like, oh, fuck.
It depends on like what they really believe that there's actual threat, or do you think that they just
All the books I read make it seem like they do, but you know how that goes.
yeah.
They also say in the books, like they both the books will say they didn't actually do anything with mind control. You know, they couldn't actually figure it out.
I'm pretty sure
Pretty sure they
that's
did.
what I mean. That's probably
Sirhan's on the phone, and somebody needs to answer that question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they figured that shit out.
they really wanted to have the mind war instead of the actual physical war.
But that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But still. Or drones. They want to basically take the people out of it because they don't want to have to rely on us to fight their wars because they know we're fed up with their bullshit. They need drones and mind propaganda to fight wars now. And if they can't kill off the population by sending all the men to war to kill each other. They'll kill off the population with the food and the water and the air and everything we've talked about in this podcast for the past how many ever months. You know,
the deity is asking for 1/3. Okay,
at least that's just to begin with, dude. Moloch is alive and well, dog. Wild.
The deity has requested 1/3 of the Earth's people. They don't want to fight anymore. I don't know.
Me either. We can watch this funny video now if you guys want to do something funny.
I like funny.
Nice, dude. Let's do it. This is
I
The
used to
Whitest
watch this
Kids
show
You
back in the
Know.
day.
It's so funny. I love this. Oh no.
This is a song that plays in my head when I walk around.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Nice to meet you.
Okay, class. This is Trevor, and he works in television, and he is going to talk to us today, okay?
Hi, how's everyone doing? High five. Oh, there we go. I work in television on a comedy show. Does anybody here want to work in television when they grow up? Okay, okay. Who likes comedy? Who's the class clown?
Joey!
Joey? Joey's the class clown?
I saw Sarah at recess, and this is what her face looks like.
Okay, all right.
I want to be an astronaut.
Oh, you want to be an astronaut? Well, that's great. You can be an astronaut. All you have to do is study flying or science, and maybe someday you could be the first astronaut to walk on the moon.
No! There already was an astronaut who first walked on the moon.
Well, no, not really. That wasn't real. See, there was this thing called the Cold War, and in order to beat the Russians, we kind of faked that. That never happened. See how there's no windows on the side? You see underneath where there's like a pod thing? What's that, right? Take a look at this wreckage. See how there's no plane parts on the ground there? What does that look like?
I can't believe we put this show on TV. A mess.
You see, President Bush was in a secret society at Yale called the Skull and Bones. His dad was too, and they all worship Satan.
President Bush worshipped Satan.
In my personal opinion, absolutely. And one of the Skull and Bones initiation rituals is that to get in, you have to lie naked in a coffin and masturbate in front of the older members. But the really messed up thing is that since former President Bush, Bush Sr., was also a member, he requested to be there to watch his son's initiation. So he watched his own son masturbate. President Bush masturbated in front of his dad. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
So I love that. Oh my god. But there's a whole conspiracy theory that he was killed by the CIA.
Yeah, no shit. Like, what?
Who, Trevor?
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
So Mike Swan, who eventually hopefully will be on the show sometime, he was saying that it wouldn't add up completely because he lived for so long after this before they would have quote unquote killed him. But still,
I would have to look into.
He
what
went
was
on
doing
Joe
at the
Rogan,
time.
right? And when he went on Joe Rogan, they joked about how dumb it would be if you fell off of a 2-story building and died, and that's literally how he died, which is kind of weird, but doesn't prove anything. Yeah, weird, right?
I mean, come on, man.
I mean, it's something to look into if you guys want, but I just love it.
I mean,
There's
it depends on like what. See, back then when this was released, this wasn't even. Nobody even like really cared or thought about it, and that like
because it was a joke.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, it's probably just real.
And now it's not a joke. This is not a joke. That's not a joke. Where are the plane parts?
That's way better than like Tranny Hour or whatever they do now.
There's another Trevor Moore that's really fucking funny. If I can find it, I'll play it, but it doesn't look like
It's
it.
like, where are the plane parts here? Do you see any plane parts?
Yeah, that was so funny. I love the part with the...
Like, what does that look like? She's like, a missile. Yes.
Let's see if I can find it.
We need more teachers like him.
Damn. They don't want you to watch the one where he talks about killing the president. Who would have thought? Oh, well. There's a one where he's like, it's really highly illegal to say that I want to kill the president. He just says it like over and over and over again. It's pretty fucking funny. Oh, well. Can't find it. I'm retarded. Moving on. My bad.
That shit was hilarious, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It really makes me wish that I watched more Whitest Kid You Know when I was a kid. It was on Fuse, apparently.
That shit was right up my alley, bro.
Can I find it still? I want to rewatch it all.
Probably. I bet
so
you
good.
can. Sucks he's dead now.
There's a lot of funny ones they did. They were kind of weird, but it was pretty good.
That was gold.
Oh, yeah.
That one right there, yeah. It's one of my favorite clips I've seen in a long time, dude.
You see how there's no windows? Oh, man.
I'm telling you, there's some
Like, how
other
do you
shit,
explain
man.
this video? Like, how do you explain any of this stuff? You don't.
For real, though. We should make, like, a homeschooling, a Trevor Moore homeschooling fucking book.
In a universe that's in... Stop it. I do have this, too.
Yeah.
We can try this. This isn't the one I was looking for, but we can look at a couple minutes of it.
Huh?
Yeah, so good. So if you were ever wondering why Trevor Moore got killed by the CIA, now you know.
That's
dude.
crazy.
Back when Comedy Central used to have comedy.
That was a banger, man. That guy's awesome. I fucking love that guy.
That's crazy. How'd they even get that approved?
6 kitty companies control the whole world, dude.
You know he had Kitty Hitler in there, and they didn't let him keep it.
Probably.
100%.
That was just like one. They're like, well, you can keep the 6 kitty companies, but not the Hitler shit.
All the reasons for World War II are actually still happening.
Well, I mean, the Nazis won and Germany lost, you know, so here we are. The Nazis just became America. Our government just took all their research and all their shit and started bombing people and killing people, you know?
Kitty bombs.
Kitty helicopters and kitty bombs. Well, that was fun. That's about all I got, though. I don't know if you guys got more.
Thing.
We could watch this frequency video, I suppose, if you want.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, no, where'd it go? Oh, I fucking... Hold on, let me see if I can bring it.
I tried to find that video that I watched the other day, but I couldn't find it.
I guess you have to for a second. I'll bring it up. My bad.
It's all good, bro.
I accidentally clicked off it when I found that kitty video.
It's okay, Mike.
Oh, damn.
At least I pulled the shit up. I
just
didn't just
like-
leave
just
the
like-
fucking screen blink. We're all just looking straight ahead like
Oh my God.
retards. And
We're
no
all
one
looking
knows
at the
what's happening.
camera.
I could, you know how much shit I had to cut out
That's
because
so
of
funny.
that, dude?
It was
you
only
just
every
posted it, I
time.
think, right?
Yeah, I think I just did. Oh, I
What
mean,
is this?
that's part of the Bin Laden letter.
Okay. Well, this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Here. Okay. We're getting there. Don't worry. We're almost there. I know this is great fucking show shit
It'd
here.
be easier if we just hired someone new.
But who?
I don't know.
I know
Let
a
me
guy.
know when you, is it J-Dog?
It's Grassman.
Grassman. Only if you dress up as...
That's what I was
J-Dog
gonna
dress up
do.
as Grassman.
Put Grassman on.
All right. Let's pull this shit up. Did it not pull up? Hello? We're having technical difficulties here.
Houston, we have a problem. We have hit water.
No, not this, dude. Fuck. I'm retarded, and I'm sorry, everyone. But we're here. We made it. Okay. Oh, yeah, we don't have to listen to this one. All right, so, TJ, what are we about to watch?
Like how sound frequencies or, frequencies being played into water changes its shapes.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of goes along with like what I was talking about, how when you have an abnormality like in your cells, like a cancer cell, how it's like not symmetrical at all. And if you play a frequency through it, it can literally...
That's what the Rife machine does.
Everything is frequency and energy, so...
Dude, my Rife machine's coming. I can't wait.
Dude, your cells are about to get jiggy with it, bro.
Is that what my cells are going to look like?
Yeah, boy.
They also play different sounds that are like negative too.
Yeah, you can tell when it's a negative sound by like the way the water like looks.
So if I got a microscope, right, and I put a water underneath it and played the Rife machine next to it, you think I could see shit like this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool, dude. I might do that. I think Kayla's brother has a microscope. Maybe I'll see if
You might not even need a microscope. You might be able just to see it happen with like...
I do. We
little
could get like
pool of
the
water.
actual royal one, the big one. So that'd be cool, man.
But then
Every day I just wait for it to come. I'm such a nerd.
And you take a second to reflect on like the whole music angle and how they.
Mm-hmm.
they're doing the exact thing they want to do to you. You know,
I just
through-
think of the positive angle, but you're right. There's the whole negative angle too.
Some music definitely makes me feel good, and some music makes me like feel weird. And I don't like some music, bro. Like I'll turn this shit
even
off.
if I used to like the music, I no longer like it
I
because
don't really
of
listen
the
to
energy
music,
it brings.
I suck. I'm lame though. I listen to fucking podcasts and audiobooks. That's how gay I am.
Yeah, you're probably doing it right. If you were listening to music, you'd be negative probably.
I listen to music like before I'm about to do something. Like if I'm about to like shoot pool or play basketball or get on a video game. Sometimes I like listen to a couple of songs just to like get my energy up. Or if I wake up really tired, I'll play a couple of songs before I go to work.
And they've also like had it to a point now where if you're out drinking, you know, there's always music involved. And
Even
that,
at stores too.
Yeah, that like lets in more of whatever they want, you know.
Even in elevators.
You know,
why is there music?
I have a weird story. So I was at Cabela's, right? And I was buying some shit at Cabela's, and I was listening to the people that work there talk, right? And the guy was saying, like, he went to Bob Evans, and it was the same playlist at Bob Evans. He's like, this is the same playlist at my job. I hate my life. I hate all these songs, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm just like, it's kind of weird that everyone would have, like, the same playlist, but now maybe there's something to it, right?
Yeah, probably. They probably have, like, a playlist that...
We go to the mall, every store has...
Stops thinking and, you know...
Buy, consume, yeah. Probably turns off your brain.
Yeah, certain songs probably play something that
Jokes
will...
on them.
Obviously make you think less about what you're doing.
How can you block it out, though?
If you're
Just
there,
turn off your
you probably
brain before
can't.
you go
What
in.
about the frequencies where only younger people can hear and not older people, too? I've heard that, like, at malls.
Yeah.
It's weird, too.
They probably play frequencies to make you buy things while you're at the mall.
Probably, yeah.
Well, make your kids demand things. So.
Right.
But the whole thing could be, I mean, the whole thing could be monetized in that way. Absolutely. But if you're thinking of it from like an evil angle, how people get like really drunk and they're listening to bad music at the bars, and that's a lifestyle and the way people.
And I seen something at movie
alcohol makes you
theaters
feel
how
shitty,
like there's subliminal messages and like hit him at like about buying popcorn and shit, and like ads in movie theaters. I remember a couple years back seeing something about that. Where they found it, it's like you want hot buttery popcorn, but it wasn't even like a popcorn ad. It was like in something before the movie started, and then people would just start getting up and going and getting popcorn. It's like,
That's
what the
crazy.
fuck, dude?
I just saw something, and I can't remember, so I shouldn't even really bring it up, but it was about subliminal messaging and commercials and shit, and I couldn't believe it, how crazy it was.
Oh,
because you'll never know it unless they show you.
Yeah,
You
I
probably saw the same thing as
I
me.
saw like a slow motion thing where it would like have a message.
Yeah.
The letters were like before the letters formed like the words they were supposed to.
It was like
form.
McDonald's or something gay too. It wasn't even
And it's
cool,
only
but it was still like, what the fuck?
And they know what your subconscious takes in, so they know how to do that shit. Like where you
They
won't
know
even,
better than you
Yeah,
do.
you won't even know that what you're taking
so
in.
They have like words on the screen for a flash.
Mm-hmm.
And
your normal eye won't be able to see it, but your subconscious will pick up on it. You know?
Yeah, so you guys ever see those things where like it's a block of like letters and they're missing like the vowels, but you can still read it?
Your
I
brain
think
puts it together.
they can do that on like
It's
a
pattern
deeper level where
recognition.
they can just like send it into you, like
because
they're like, oh, some people can't read this shit, and I just like see a whole thing. I'm like, I know what every word is without
Same.
even. You can just fill in the blanks. So if they know how to tap into something deeper than that, and your subconscious could
it's
just
just
fill in
because
the
you've
blanks
read
or
for so
something.
long, you can recognize the patterns of
Yeah.
the words and figure it out without even needing all the letters. Yeah. But like you said, if you know that people can do that, how could you use that against them? You know what I mean?
And you know, to take it a step further, it's probably the same exact study with the brain thing, with playing messages into your brain while you're sleeping.
Oh, that shit was wild.
And
too.
all like
that shit
literally-
you sent, right?
Yeah, it all. I think it
I don't
all
like
goes
that.
back. It all goes back to the same exact place. Though.
Trying to monetize our sleep, bro.
It goes back to the same place though. They're trying to get us going the exact direction that they want us to go in. Like
Propaganda,
through like hypnosis almost. Like they want us to do it without thinking that we're doing it.
Basically, we just know the very beginnings of the whole mind control.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird how MK Ultra ended and Stargate started, and that's all the shit we were talking about with frequencies and being able to control without the physical like being there too. Like
so everyone has a speaker that plays like
you probably
know,
need
noises
them
at night.
Mm-hmm.
It probably has to do with the frequency that you're tuned at, and that might be another contributing factor on why they're trying to get everybody to be so negative and so shitty. You know what I mean? Maybe they need. That's how they can get to you through frequency. You know, maybe if you're vibrating highly, you
They
just
could have
brush
figured
that
out
shit off. You know,
what frequency LSD like unlocks. Basically, like I'm sure there's a frequency. Like if LSD does something to your physical brain, I'm sure there's a frequency that they. Can
Well,
find out what
LSD.
you're
I think
saying.
LSD was just their way of figuring it out. It's like the
very
baseline.
beginning. Yeah.
They figured it out that you can do these things, and now they don't need drugs
Right,
to
that's
do
what I'm
it.
thinking too.
So
Weird. They probably just need people to be afraid and be like in this constant state of like fight or flight, you know what I mean? And that's probably would explain a lot of our media and our politics and why the things they are the way they are. And if they get enough people in that state, and then they could
I believe
produce
LSD
some frequency, you know?
Yeah, doing LSD will probably open you up to like be
I
more
think it can be good
susceptible.
and bad though, but I agree with you 100%. I think it's all about your own personal like vibration, your own personal energy and shit.
the LSD is a tool to open up the mind.
Exactly.
That's
And
all.
if you are positive and you have positive thoughts and you're around positive people, you can have a very positive.
It's just like LSD is like the skeleton key for the mind, kind of. You know,
psychedelics in general, DMT, even mushrooms
you can take
can do it
it
to
to
a
open
certain
up your
extent.
mind, right?
Yeah.
You can also open your own mind using the right keys. So
And that's like meditation and shit.
Yeah.
There's more than one way to skin the cat or whatever they say, right?
yeah,
That's a weird
It's like
saying.
kicking the door
Yeah.
down versus finding the right way to open the door.
Yeah, pretty much.
That saying came from China somewhere.
Probably. Or is it skin the dog? I don't remember. It might not even be skin either. I'm just retarded.
No, I've heard that
somewhere.
before.
I have no idea.
It's a really
There's
weird
just more
saying.
than one way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
And they're
way to
finding a
skin
bunch of
cat.
different ways to do it.
Just a really crazy saying now that I think about it.
Well, the one way they found was to literally torture and break people mentally and then use that kind of like fugue dissociative state to do it, right? Then the other way is through hypnosis and LSD. And now the new way is probably through frequency and fucking that kind of a fugue state type spiel.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's in the 90s they started doing the Stargate program, right? MK Ultra lasted about 20-something years, so...
Yeah,
we're
like,
probably
so
onto the thing after the
what
Stargate
program
program
are we
right now.
in?
Exactly. We probably just ended Stargate like 5 or 6 years ago, and we're on to the next one, or whoever knows how long. But we're probably into the next
They
phase.
didn't just stop the mind control program.
Well, Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Ultra, Stargate.
It all evolves.
Now what?
It just keeps evolving.
Yeah, and they get better at each time. They haven't gotten
Of course,
worse.
yeah.
So like to remote view isn't
It gets
as
easier,
important now.
more
They're
convenient,
probably
better.
doing something
You're
way
right.
crazier.
That was probably what they were doing 20 years ago. Yeah.
Because remote viewing, they can do that without sending anyone anyway. They can just tap into your fucking
Now it's probably all frequency based.
your
is what I'm
smart TV,
thinking.
your phone, your
They're
computer.
probably using sounds and vibration to fucking.
I
mess
mean,
with
they're
people.
going to read
car,
they're reading our brain frequencies. They know what we're thinking.
They're probably reading our brain frequencies, reading our auras. They're just getting all of our information. Like data is so. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Data is so valuable. You know, like think about how Elon Musk is selling all that data through Tesla. Now imagine if they could read your brainwaves. Imagine if they could monetize your sleep or your subconscious.
You know they can read their brainwaves based on what they
Imagine
already
if they
said.
could actually monetize your subconscious, though. Think about all the data they could take. It's like we just moved, my wife and I, in the past like year or so, probably a little bit. Who cares? We recently moved, right? The company that we used to sell our house, who was supposed to be a family friend, sold all of our fucking information. And now my wife gets scam calls every single day. And she looked in how to end it. And you can go online and jump through all these hoops to end it, but it only ends it for 5 years. And then they'll start calling again. It's like, how much money did you get for my data? And what data did you sell? That's fucking wild, man.
Did you ever ask them about it?
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I'd be like, where do you sell my data, bro?
It's probably some paper that I signed that I didn't read when TJ told me to read all those papers. Do you remember a long time ago? And TJ's, you got to read all those papers. I was like, psh.
Papers are crazy.
Sign this one, sign this one.
They make it so you don't
sign
even
this
have
one.
any time to read those
Sign,
papers.
sign.
It's like a huge ass book of fucking
The guy like
paperwork.
literally puts it in front of you, and he's like, "This is saying this and this and this. Sign here and sign here.
Yeah.
This is saying this and this. Sign here and sign here." And
But
you're
it's
just like,
like
oh,
it's,
whatever, bro. I
You
just wanna
sign
get out of
like
there. I wanna be-
47 times.
and you're just like, I just want to go to my new house. You know, like I'm tired of this signing bullshit. I'm
Why
tired
is
of the
it
waiting.
so difficult to sign this? We're buying a house.
And this is like the exciting day too, because this is the day you're getting the keys. This is the day you're able to actually go to your
You're
new
in a
house. So
hurry
you
to
don't
get
want
out.
to sit there reading all those fucking papers.
It's like, come on.
But
get
if
this
it was
over with.
5 days before, I might be more apt to sit there and read those
Yeah,
papers
it's the
and
day
sign them,
of,
and then give you the keys 5 days
You're already
later.
in a hurry to get the keys. You just sign away.
I remember being there, like Kayla's got to go to work. I got to go get new locks. I got to change the lock. Got to do this. I got to do that. Like a list of shit to do in my head. You know, I'm not worried about what's on these fucking pieces of paper. But like, what? I guess my question is, why is data so valuable? What exactly are they selling when they say they're selling your data, and what are they doing with said data? Do you guys know?
No.
I have no clue.
I know,
but I know it's very valuable.
I know
Why?
to a certain extent, it's to get people are really predictable. They're trying to have a predictable market where they know
they're all trying to recreate
release,
TikTok's algorithm, probably, man.
And where they can release certain items where they're going to get the most people
but
buying
now
their shit.
Extrapolate that what the government can do with all that data if it somehow got its hands on it. And if a company does put all of that data together, you can bet your bottom dollar that the government will, at the very least, try to get a hold of it. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we'll get a hold of it.
They know where the heaviest resistance is right now in the United States in every area, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
If something were to hit
they
the fan,
probably
they
have a
already
fucthe
know.
list of every person.
Yeah.
You've seen the FBI's watch list or whatever. It's literally people who have the Gadsden flag, Christians, people who don't believe in it. Just
what's crazy is this country would have already taken people down in the past iterations of governments in this country. They would have already said that these people are communists or whatever, and they would have already killed them off.
Joseph McCarthy, even that wasn't even that long ago, and that still would have happened back then. Even, yeah. Now we're just being infiltrated and ran, and everybody is so stupid. Biden literally tweets something like, "The economy is the greatest it's been in 5 years," and people just eat that shit up. And I read it, and I'm like, "Is this for real?" I can't even believe.
And then he has he has his own financial guy up there saying it's true. I'm like, this is insane.
I mean, I
Everything
guess
costs 5 times as much.
If all you care about is numbers on a piece of paper and you force no one to work, and then you frame that as we created all these jobs, as in you let people all go back to work.
God, my favorite TikToks are
sure, you can pretend like you created a lot of jobs, but we all know you didn't.
They're there's this new trend. It's the Biden administration has created so many more jobs, and I worked 3 of them, and I still can't live.
For real. I feel that one.
Yeah, it's
wild.
Well, that's the problem.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, we all work. There's more jobs, guys. They got more jobs. Everyone's working more of them.
Everybody has 2 shitty ones now instead of 1 decent one. Great. Just, send your kids to public schools, eat convenient food because you don't have time. Because like Randy and I were saying, it's getting to the point where fast food is so expensive that it's as expensive or more expensive than just buying food at the grocery store and making it. So now the only excuse you really have is convenience. That's the only excuse now is convenience.
Well, they make it so inconvenient to live that you
don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to have both parents in a family, they're both working most of the time because you have to.
And everyone, they get home from work, and if you didn't prepare your dinner before you went to work, what do you you have to make dinner in the small time frame that you have with your children? That's impossible almost.
And then if you do get into a good routine of doing that stuff, then one thing happens and
you took the words right out of my mouth. It's got to be routine based. That's the only way, and it still will be hard. Don't get me wrong, but you got to have a tight routine with the people that you live with. That's the only way.
You can't even miss one appointment to buy the groceries or anything because then you'll have to be.
And then you get a flat tire and the whole fucking, you know what I mean? You're living in such a tight
Now imagine taking the man out of the picture and it's only a single mom.
Yeah, then it's just.
See what I mean? It's even worse now. It's just one person trying to do all this. Now it is impossible. It's not just really hard. It's fucking impossible. Yeah. It goes from almost impossible to completely impossible.
Their great help.
Well, that's the problem. Now the government pays for everything, and you just have enough money to buy the cheapest, worst shit for you, and you get sicker and worse.
And then you just rely on people that are literally
send your
poisoning
kids to
government schools,
which are poisoning your mind. You're just leaning on the people that are literally destroying everything.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
that's the way it seems. But I think you do.
I don't know what
maybe
the choice would be
some of these people have put themselves into positions where they don't have a choice anymore. I will agree with you, but I think that you can still build a system in your family and avoid all this.
For now.
Yeah, for now. I feel like I'm doing it right now, literally. So I think it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it as feasible as a.
The more kids you add, the harder it is too.
It's just.
I think it's
it goes on so many different angles.
If you want it bad enough and it's important enough to you, you can do it. All right,
so to 100%. Control the population of people that they don't want around anymore, they make it so unaffordable to have kids and work. So you can't you have to go by their rules in order to afford kids and be middle class, if you want to call it middle class. You can't go off of their path because it's not affordable for a normal person to have more than a couple kids. So you have to go down their path almost.
Yeah, it's harder to be middle class, but you can have less things and get it done. You can pay less for rent.
The money is literally exactly as allocated.
I don't think so. I don't agree with you on that one.
I think they have a system designed so particularly great for their interest that they.
Yeah, but the thing is that system has some control, but you have the ultimate control of what your system is.
Well, yeah, you can control
your
not having the
personal
kids.
system.
Absolutely.
No, you can still have kids too. I think you can homeschool your kids. I think you can make them eat right. I think you can have no fluoride in your water. I think you can
You wouldn't have time.
not poison their minds.
You
I think you
want time.
can. I really do. I think that you are wrong.
No, I mean,
I think that I can
see
quit doing a lot of the things I do now. I can quit playing video games. I can quit doing
But I can
dumbass
see the
shit, and I
trap.
could put that shit into things that actually matter, into my garden, into my kids, and into my life.
I can see the trap, the whole trap. I can see the whole trap that I've been a part of. I can see every.
But you could
part of
decide
I think
just to,
that
like-
it's a little bit of a cope because you're making it seem like there's no way, and I don't agree with you. I think there is a way.
Well,
I think if you want it enough, you can do it. You can create your own systems. You can build your own life, and
Like
you can be
these people that are
responsible for
moving out of
yourself.
cities and stuff, and
Yeah,
just
that's what
like
I'm saying. I
homeschooling their
moved
kids.
here
There's
to
a
have
way.
a little bit of space so I can grow my own food. So when I have a kid, I won't be
I have more.
stuck
I
in
think
the
I have
city.
more experience in the trap. That's all.
Or maybe I see it before I'm actually trapped, and I think I can build a system to avoid the trap now. But if you already get caught in the trap and then you realize it's going to be a lot harder to, but I have not had my kid yet. So it's like I have
a lot of years of experience in this trap, and it's not.
You're saying it's impossible that you can't choose.
I don't know
to
if it's
just-
impossible, but I'll tell you that
It's hard.
They made a system.
Just because you got trapped doesn't
No.
mean that you know.
Well, it's not just me. It's
I know. I'm not saying it's just you, but I'm saying just because you got trapped doesn't mean I can't avoid it.
I think it's almost everyone in the trap, though.
Well, if depends on what you're talking about. I know for 100% fact that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking build my garden and I'm going to grow my own food. I'm going to have my own birds and I'm going to treat my wife correctly and I'm going to have kids and my kids are going to see how I treat my wife. They're going to see how I live my life. My kids are never going to go to a fucking public school. They're going to be homeschooled. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make that happen. And I'm going to do all the things that I wish that my parents did for me. And I'm going to be the best that I can possibly be. All that shit combined, and if I build the right structure, the right routine, the right way of life, I know it will work. I know it will. I
believe in it, but it's just
Matt,
they
my
made
buddy
this,
that was on our show, he was homeschooled and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
They made this huge trap.
Agreed.
So,
but I'm not going to step in it.
It's just
the
like
thing is, though, like the trap is like almost over.
Everyone gets a little bit trapped for sure because you still have to pay taxes, you still have to have a social security card, you still have to be a part of the government bullshit. And you still have to do all that.
Once you like,
but you have to overcome it. You know.
Once you miss, if you miss any steps on the way, right, the trap just comes down. I feel like
it depends. If you hit a big snag, but there's small snags you can
some
persevere
things
through
that
for sure.
aren't even controllable, and you're like some of the parts of the trap aren't controlled by you.
Yeah, you have to stay away from those parts of the trap.
I feel like it's easy just to go along with shit, and it's really hard to like go away from it. But I don't think it's impossible.
That's what I'm saying.
There's just it's so many layers to the trap that you need a car.
I already have a car.
Yeah, but when it breaks down, you need a car.
Well, I've got money saved for a car.
So I'm saying like, but the trap is so well designed that there's like always a way to fall into part of the trap.
I get it, but also I feel like a lot of the trap is other people. Like, I am not normal. I don't want to go anywhere.
I respect their game.
I don't want to do anything, you know? So it's like, oh, your car's going to break down, all these bad. It's like, dude, I literally drive to work, at the store, and home. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything.
And you still need to do all those things, though.
Yeah, so what? I will be able to. And my car won't break down at a rate that other people's cars will when they're doing wild-ass shit. I'm never going to finance cars. I'm going to buy a $2,000 car, and I'm going to drive that bitch around until it breaks down. Then I'm either going to fix it and buy another $2,000 car.
See, but that's the thing. That's part of the trap.
But I could technically not
getting
buy a car.
in debt with all the usury of buying some $50,000 car.
Because it's a double-sided trap, right? So let's say you wanted to have like let's say you wanted to be old school. You wanted to have 8 kids and have a huge family and have, you know.
You need to make a lot of money.
But they controlled the fact that you can't do that anymore.
Why?
They made it unaffordable.
If you make enough money, you can do it. There's people who still do it now.
That's
that
the
make a
trap,
lot of money.
though.
Yeah.
That's the huge trap.
So
Because
what
then
if
you have
I
to make enough money and then keep making enough money to support your family, and now you're almost reliant on however you make money.
And then your wife leaves you because you work so much that that's just where
that's a whole
the whole
problem.
game is like rigged. It's on its side.
What if you just take your 4 kids and go get a tent or a little camper and just go out to the woods and have bow and arrows?
But the experience of having like with the kids, they kids are really cool, but they will point out the truth. They'll kids know they can't be like the child mind can't be influenced in a way before you influence them, right? So they can see when things aren't exactly the way it's supposed to be, and they understand it better. A lot of people have years of layers of what's supposed to be imprinted on them. So
that's why I don't want public schools for my kids.
Yeah,
That's
you can
literally
keep the internet, social media away from your kids. You can literally just go live in the woods still, like today.
we can do Amish, yeah.
Yeah, Owen Benjamin isn't Amish, but his son is 12 and doesn't know what a lesbian is. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, we don't need that kind of shit in our lives. Why? Why are we introducing that to kids that young anyways? Like, it's so stupid, dude.
Not everyone can be exactly like. Not everyone can be Owen Benjamin. So
I agree.
So.
But it's something to aspire towards, for
but
sure.
But people can if they choose to do that.
I don't think everyone can.
Not everyone, but it's going to take a lot.
Sure, their house won't be as big. They won't have as much land, but they can still
and
go
they'll probably
live off
have
the
to
land.
have some debt to get the house, unlike him, sure. But you could still do what
I could just
doing.
start walking outside right now and just go live off the land. Like, no one can stop me. That trap is gone. It's
the
destroyed.
government can stop you.
They can try. They can kill me, but
they can throw you in a box.
Look, like
they can try. You know
I
what
agree.
I mean?
I'm against the trap, but the trap is like.
They
whoever designed the trap, they have a lot of good minds involved, obviously.
Yeah.
And the trap is so well designed. So,
I agree, but I also disagree that there's nothing I can do. I'm going to build a
there's
system
no
that
guarantee
beats
that you get stuck in the trap, but the trap is very good at what it
Oh,
does.
100%. And it's like
I would
easy.
never deny that. I just feel like at the beginning you were making it seem like you're just fucked and there's no hope, and no matter what
hope,
you do, you're
yeah.
fucked. I'm just like, nah.
Getting out of the trap, that's the whole.
That's harder than not getting caught in it for sure, 100%. Because once you're in it, because I was stuck in the whole thing. I was in the whole ass trap. I got totally fucking psyoped. You know what I mean? My whole life. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to do anything. I have no purpose. And you just get fat and depressed and lazy and everything sucks. But then one day I just was like, fuck.
The giant trap picture is a lifelong trap almost, though. So maybe you like circumventing the trap is great.
So now you're
it has to
talking
be
about
lifelong.
You're talking about how they changed slavery from only black people to everyone after the Civil War, basically, and we're all basically slaves. We're just too dumb to realize it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
We're all just tax slaves. We're tax cattle. You know?
I realize it, but there's just nothing we can do about it unless we.
But that doesn't define me.
Yeah,
it never will. Fuck that.
We could be happy slaves.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like we can try to figure a way out of it or like a way around it.
It's just they made it so.
There's a difference between like an actual slave and whatever this
minimum
is.
Wage was supposed to be set up for one person, the man, to work, make minimum wage, and be able to have a house and have a family. That's
there
what
should be no
wage
minimum wage.
Yeah.
Minimum wage is retarded, anyways. Sorry.
I think it's like $10 an hour or some shit.
Minimum wage in general, the theory of minimum wage is retarded.
Yeah,
it's retarded. You're putting a minimum currency on it. It should be all
which
decided by
means,
the fucking market.
It's so
and if somebody
funny,
offered you $4 an hour, you know what you tell them to do?
Go
fuck yourself.
And what it does is it lets all companies
what's hilarious about the whole thing, though.
Be able to pay someone the same amount, you know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, well, it's minimum wage, it's $10 an hour, because, like you said, if someone's going to offer you something that's not worth your time, you're going to be like, no, and then there's going to be competition for it. But having a minimum wage takes out so much competition because everyone has an excuse just to, well, this is what we start off
They also
at.
took all of your jobs, and the jobs that are available are
shitty,
bad
service jobs.
Yeah. So they took the jobs, and now everyone can work a job. Yeah. Great.
And then you know what I hate the most about the good jobs that are coming out now? It's not like it was before where you just applied. It's like, who do you know? Can you get in with somebody that you know? And then are you not white? Basically, that's what it felt like when I was trying to apply at the place around here. You guys probably both know what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone I know that got hired there all knew someone. Everyone knew someone. Everyone. And the people who worked there like, oh, it's a lottery and only 50 people. Bull fucking shit, bro. Like literally
They're still
everyone.
doing a lot of hiring too.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
just
like
saying
40,
for right now is what I'm saying.
They're doing 40, 40, 40, 40.
The point, but what I'm saying is like everyone knows someone.
Yeah, I'm just saying the
And-
people I see get jobs that I don't get. I don't get it because all I really do is work hard when I go to work.
Too.
Yeah.
But also, I will say in their defense, the whole process isn't very thorough. It feels like they're just taking whatever they can get. They're just throwing a lot of shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks, basically.
The regular people are still forced to work overtime right now because they need so many people.
Whatever.
It's just.
So when you talk about this trap, right?
Yeah.
Start from the beginning.
Well, I mean, the whole thing's a trap. The whole American life now is a trap. So
Now, when did it start?
when did the trap start?
Yeah.
Oh man. Now this is just an idea that popped in my head during this podcast. I really like think about this as you
I
get
can
the
tell you when
social
I think
security
it
number.
Well, yeah. I think it started before that, though.
Yeah, I mean, but you get the social security number, then they start like giving you debt that you don't know about, or you're worth so much to them in their eyes, You have this kind of like value. They place a value on you with your social security number. You have to pay taxes the entire time you work, and
Yeah, income tax was definitely a big thing. That
yeah, it's a
accelerated
huge
it.
trap right there.
Why would you
Income
want
tax.
to put a detriment on something you want? You want people to work and make income, right? So why would you put a tax on that? Sorry, go ahead, though.
Yeah, the whole thing is a trap, though. I feel like it's like a multi-layered trap. They want you to only be able to afford to have this many kids.
It's just like medicine.
Yeah, they
They
have
want
it
you to
set
live,
up.
but they want you to keep buying their medicine.
And it's evolving as it goes. Like
They want
before,
you to live, but barely.
They
basically.
want you to live the life that they want you to live.
and before they were okay with people owning land and owning houses and shit. Now they're even moving away from that, where the part of the trap is they want everyone to rent. They just want to.
They won't tell you who's buying all the
Real
rental
estate
properties.
is a way for people with not a lot of money to make some money. Real
But
estate is a big way to make money.
a lot of the rental
That's where I've
properties
gained
are
all my wealth pretty much.
owned by foreign entities. So
The American dream used to be you buy your first house, you live in it for like 5 to 10 years, you build up equity, and then you have money there, right? So then you sell the house, you take the money from between it, and you buy the nice house you're going to live in forever. And then you build equity, and then as you get older, you pay the house off, and then you have this house that's worth how much ever money, a lot, in our respective, and then that's what you can pass on to your kids.
Yep.
That was the American dream before, and then your kid could either live in the house or sell it and buy their own house or whatever they wanted to do. But like that was the American dream before, But when did that end? Because you're basically saying like now that's not a thing anymore. Is that what you mean by the trap?
well, that's a huge part of it. Yeah, you can't. The mortgages also now.
Yeah, the percentages are wild. Right
Yeah, you
And
can't.
the crash, what was that, 2008?
Yeah.
We lost our house in 2008. It was crazy. It
Yeah.
went up like 3 times the amount.
And what happened, Randy? Did
They
they bail
sold
out
it?
your parents? Did they bail out
Absolutely
all those
not.
fucking people who lost their houses because they
They're
got
not-
fucked by those stupid fucking banks? No, who'd they bail out? The fucking banks.
They're not
That's who they
interested
fucking
in
bailed
and
bailing
out.
they
us
double
out.
dipped
Pissing
and
me
they
off,
sold the house
Oh,
that
it
we
makes
were
me so
in
mad.
for cheaper than what we were paying for it in the
And
fucking
the-
first
but the same,
place.
and they're also the same people right now who are charging this much interest.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Usury, boy.
they get bailed out to screw us over.
Yeah. But all those fucking executives and people at the top of those banks, you think they didn't get their bonuses and their pensions when they were fucking everyone else over and getting bailed out by the stupid
and I
fucking
know
government?
things happened before that, but that was a big part of at least the
Well,
housing market.
That was a big part of it for you because
we're good.
it affected you personally.
Yeah.
And the narrative of we're gonna put higher year mortgages out.
Your parents rented ever since then.
We're gonna
yeah.
have a
Totally
60-year
fucked them all.
mortgage coming up. We'll have 60-year mortgages available. Everyone can afford to live in a house.
but you're going to die before the 60 years is up, and the
Yeah.
government's just going to take your house
yeah.
and then sell it again to another 60-year mortgage to some other schlub.
60-year mortgages, guys. This is a great idea. You'll never
which
own
is
your own
basically
house.
renting.
Yeah, you'll never own it.
It's funny. My first house was a 15-year mortgage. Now they're trying to go 60.
Do a
Wild.
60-year mortgage, guys. This is a good idea.
No.
Sell it as a good idea.
It's not a good
I'll pay my shit off by the time I'm 90. Fucking
You know how much
40.
more interest they'll get on a 60-year mortgage? That's 30 more years of interest, dude.
They'll
It's
love-
wild.
I mean, the whole
It's going to
thing.
equal to like 10 years of your payments are just interest.
Yeah, seriously. No joke.
I know, dude,
Seriously.
it's
Maybe more than
fucking-
10
yeah.
years, honestly. It might be 10 years on 30, for real.
And
Sorry, go ahead, though.
the whole trap is designed so you can't own a house ever.
Do you think it
can't-
started before Woodrow Wilson in World War One? Or I think that's kind of in my head. I've been trying to like pinpoint it. That's kind of.
I mean, the movement's probably like the 1800s overseas, right?
Overseas, yeah. I'm talking about America, though.
Yeah, but it's the same world. It's just, the movement spread.
I wish things weren't like this, obviously, you know what I mean? But like
we're enslaved by a financial institution.
Yeah,
Federal
but
Reserve,
I can't take anything with me when I die, like personally. So I'm just gonna be happy, like being out.
Everything I have,
I am very
to my
happy with
kids
the
the best
person
that
I
I
am,
can.
and I am happy with everything that I do.
The trap is there, and it sucks, and it's like, but like what? It just.
It's also not that tight of a trap by design. We're still free to move around. We're still free to do what we want outside of the taxes and the trap.
Yeah,
and the bullshit.
it's like when you're trapped. When
They
you
keep
trap
you-
like
It's like literally the perfect fucking.
when you trap like a wild animal that would be happy in the wilderness in like a
Give her food
captivated
and stuff,
area.
But still the
It's still gonna be
wilderness.
them.
But like,
Yeah.
there's still like
You only get
there's
an
still
acre
that
by
ice wall
acre
in
now.
Antarctica. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
They
saying? Like you
have the
can't go to the
wall
other side of
around
there.
us.
You know.
And they're just like laughing about it. That we think that we're all free in this like huge trap.
Really,
That's what they really.
It's just a really big, nice trap.
Yeah.
For us, it's not as nice for other.
It's
people.
not that bad. I like the trap. It's not that bad. But they designed it so well that we're all stuck in it.
I don't like it really.
For generations. Like there's not going to be the people that have all the wealth are just going to keep getting more and more wealth as it
Well, that's
progresses.
what COVID was all about. It was what they say the biggest
the biggest like transfer
of wealth in modern history.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because all the mom and pop shops all got shut down, and all the big corporations stayed open, and all those places, people that would go to mom and pop shops, forced to go to the fucking corporations now too. So not only are they able to stay open, they're also getting all the business.
The 6 companies own everything. You can buy everything
all
from
the
everyone.
6 kitty companies.
And the government cares about your health so much that like they're really serious about how safe the vaccine is. That's why they kept all the like liquor stores open and sold cigarettes the whole time during COVID because that was essential.
The government cares so much about your health.
With people on Twitter about that.
They take the money from the 6 companies so they can sell you whatever they want anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how much they care. They get paid off every year.
They kept their liquor stores open during COVID because it's essential to make money.
I mean, yeah, it is essential for them, man.
I mean, the Rockefellers poisoned our kids' minds. They poisoned our medicine through petroleum-based medicine. John D. Rockefeller fucked a lot of shit up.
Like, I think maybe it was like the video with the kitties. Maybe that like really brought me into this whole trap.
Before we end, I want to ask you guys. I'm gonna make a banger ass intro, a new intro, and I'm gonna put like cool shit in it. Do I put the part with George Bush jerking off? What part of? Because I'm gonna put something of that Trevor Moore in there, along with obviously the yay on Alex Jones saying the floorboards and probably like 1 or 2 other things. Of that kitty fucking video, what part is the best part?
The kitty video. Oh man, that was a banger.
Yeah, there's the part with the George Bush jerking off.
The six
the 6 kitty companies.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole one where he's talking about the plane. He's like, "See, there's no wind."
When the kid said he wanted to be an astronaut, and he's like, "Oh, you could be the first person to walk on the moon."
There's too much good, is the problem.
Yeah, like the 6 kitty owners is the biggest one that probably got him killed.
He saved it for the end.
I like that. I also really like the whole George Bush's dad wanted to be there and watch his son jerk off. Like,
I'm gonna watch Some of the Whitest Kids You Know.
I'm definitely gonna put that into the intro though. The intro I've been using is a working intro. I just wanted to take Mike out of it and just have like a nice little easy one for now. But I'm gonna by the time this episode comes out is my goal. So
hell yeah.
But I think we're at 1:45. So
oh damn,
guys, ready to wrap this shit?
Yep.